yours work okay? I like bubble machines. They had a big one down there.
The second roommate I had for 2 days, then I found her with. She got kicked out.
She what?
So 2 roommates I've had with. So I've been a roommate for 2 months, but now I have one, and she moved in on Thursday, but I haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
So we'll see. Yeah. Joseph has
Ah, you got him on the run.
one of James' kids. So.
Jacob's got him on the run. There you go.
Kill him with water. Go to the mom.
Oh no, you're messing with his hair.
Borrow Johnny's bubble from me.
Uh-oh.
I never thought you'd ask.
Well, Val, we've got to get updated here on your newest adventure.
Well, the kids are getting bigger. We're keeping busier, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at that stage where we're feeling stretched from
I'm just trying to
every
relax.
direction.
Why y'all?
It's
Why
kind of a
y'all?
weird thing to, you know, to grow into the point that you remember your parents at when you were a kid, and now you're seeing it from the other side. That's kind of where we're at. We're both keeping busy with work still. I've moved from being the marketing guy to now I'm managing the franchise.
Oh, you are?
That's a recent shift.
Fantastic.
And, yeah, I think I've just risen to my level of incompetence.
That's what we're all hoping for.
That's the rule in business. You know, we all rise to our level of incompetence, and so maybe that's where I'm at now. But the kids are doing well.
Yeah.
Going to lots of soccer games with Neely. Nate's doing Boy Scouts. We're heading off to Scout camp a week from tomorrow,
Get a cup of water.
and we'll be out in bear country for a week. So yeah, that's about it for us.
Scar country, you mean Yellowstone?
No, Wyoming, but not Yellowstone.
Okay.
So the Raft River Mountains. No, the Wind River Mountains. Wind River Mountains.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
Well, good. You're getting out. You're doing a lot of stuff with your kids.
Yeah,
They're lucky.
it's good stuff.
They're
Yeah,
lucky.
got to enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. And Gary, I know-
Now enjoy the good-looking one in this relationship.
what's new?
Nothing. Just work.
Just
and
work.
more work.
Well, tell us about your work.
It's boring. It's boring.
That's why they pay you to do it.
Is work. But
No.
as long as you get a paycheck, it's not boring.
Yeah, may the paycheck cover the bills, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
Bob and Deanna here on video. Bob,
I'm going to take your picture. Did you find a friend?
I hear that you won't give up work yet. You want to get.
I'm starting to phase in, Roger, so I think I've turned the corner.
Well, it's you get to that point, and I know what you mean. You get to that point, you say, "This can't do it anymore." But you've worked a long time at your profession, and
But I've enjoyed it.
That's where I got my dog.
So
yeah,
it's not work to me. It's just
it's something. It's fun.
yeah,
It's fun in a way.
in a way.
Yeah. You've just done so much of it for so long. It's automatic.
It's second nature. Yeah.
You can say hi to Renee here.
Well, hi, Renee. I think you need to teach kindergarten. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, tell us about your kindergarten class.
Oh, kindergarten. Well, that's one grade I thought would be awful, and it's just so much fun. I go and I don't have a teacher bag, and I don't have to plan, and I can leave at lunchtime. That's pretty good.
Kind of an easy life as a teacher.
It's pretty good.
Now, what about that one kid?
Oh, that one kid. Well,
He turned out pretty good, didn't he?
he did turn out okay. He had his moments, but he turned out okay. And then they found out he's moving. And they also found out that they've got 2 more coming in next year that was just, they're going to be just like him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, this you can't believe what this kid would do.
Do you think it's problems at home? Discipline at
Oh,
home?
definitely. You should see mom and dad. Actually, mom and stepdad.
Oh.
Yeah, you just take one look at them, and all the pieces fall into place. But but to look at this kid, if you took a picture of him, you'd say, "Oh, what a sweet, angelic child." But he was hell on wheels, I'll tell you.
I'm surprised he stayed in class. He stayed in
Oh.
school.
Well, they had to take him out once in a while. Yeah, they had to. In fact, he got so bad they take the class out of the classroom because you can't do anything with him. Can't do anything.
He was a danger to other kids.
He would stab kids with pencils.
He would hurt other kids.
He would stab kids and stab the teacher. He kicked the teacher in the face. He kicked the teacher in the chin. She had to go to the hospital. Kicked her so hard. She thought she broke an orbit in her face. But it was okay. Yeah.
Any discipline there?
Nope. There's just a gal that takes a clipboard and takes notes. So he bit everybody. I mean, he bit everybody. I was the one person he hadn't bitten. But I didn't have his reading group. That's probably why. He was something else. Yeah. So tell us about the fire. Is it
In New Harmony? Well, we didn't get it right on top of us. It
But
was
we did
about
we did start packing up one night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, how do you pack it? Do you still have your goats? Mm-hmm. Oh,
We
okay.
still have one
How do you pack a goat?
Well, that's what I worry about when I hear those fires.
What I did was put my name and address on some sticky thing and hook it on and say, and leave the gate open.
And I wrote on the back, "You can keep me. Don't return me."
No, one time when we evacuated to Canaraville, we went in camping, and I asked him if I could bring the goats. And we took the 3 goats to the campground along with the cats and dogs.
So what do you do with the chickens? You can't take the chickens.
I don't remember. What did we do with the chickens?
Oh, we just left him there.
Oh,
Just leave the gate open and hope they can run faster than the fire, I guess.
Yeah, very good.
so but you have a horse, or was that your? Okay.
We have the mini horse, and I was trying to stick a thing on his, but the sound of the tape kept scaring him.
Oh,
So I couldn't ever get it on him, and I thought, well, I need to take the halter off and put it on and put it back on.
yeah.
But we're getting up there, and guess what happened to me today?
What?
A rear end collision. No, it wasn't
Sorry.
a collision. It was a rear end.
It was a collision. A
bump.
collision is when you when you break both cars. It's a collision.
And it was all her fault. I didn't.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what was happening until we slammed on the brakes, and I look up and
Boom. Here in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Oh
on the
dear.
way here, we were looking for Harmons to get some chicken.
Downtown. Downtown Harmons.
No, this is out on 114th South.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, downtown Harmons. I still don't know where that is.
Yeah, I've been in there before, but I don't know
Yeah.
how.
Did you have to call the police?
No, it wasn't. I bent his fender a little bit in, and I broke my license plate.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
Yeah, there was a square bar that came out, and it bent that in on his trailer, and he said it bent his
He'll probably have us buy him a new trailer. I'm sure.
It wasn't very bad, but we'll see
Yeah.
how much.
And I'll say hello to Renee. Wish you were here.
Yeah.
Nice cool day today. Cloudy. We didn't have any strong sun, direct sun.
No. It really was
nice
nice. We had a sprinkle or two in Ogden, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice today for a
And this
change.
humidity, even though I hate it, it makes me wet. the fire danger is so much lower
Yeah.
when there's humidity. When the humidity's high.
Cool thing about them is that they host all kinds of other companies that you've probably heard of too, like Netflix and I can't remember all the others, but like big companies. And so like Netflix, you can just imagine the amount of computing power that Netflix has to have to, and bandwidth to stream movies to everybody's house. So that is all built on Amazon Web Services. We used it at Panasonic for a long time. We did all kinds of fun stuff with it. And so I got familiar with it. I know how to use it. And the cool thing is it's just like running a computer, but you don't have to have it in your house. So if the power goes out in my house, Simister.net still runs. Yay!
That's good.
Anyway, so yeah, and also, let's see, I have Simister.net, I have Simister.org, Simister.us, and Simister.info.
I didn't know
So-
that. What does the org do?
Nothing yet.
Simister.com.
You're just working on
You know, I couldn't get that one. They're over in the UK. There's
Somebody in the UK?
There's a law firm, Simister or something.
Really?
I wonder
Yeah.
if we're related.
We are, I think. I believe we are related. But they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon, so I'm probably not going to get .com. But we do have the other major ones. So it took me a while to get Simister.org. That one used to be owned by a guy who lived in Linden, not too far away from me.
Really?
And I wish he would have told me that he didn't want it anymore, because I would have totally bought it. But he let it lapse. Somebody else bought it. I think they were in Japan. I don't know. I have no idea. It was like some Japanese site that came up for a while. I don't know. Anyway, kept waiting for it to come up. It was off for a while, but still registered. And then it was like available, meaning you could like buy it from somebody else for $700 or something like that. I'm like, well, I'm not paying $700 for it. Finally, they deregistered it. It just became available for anyone to register. And so, hey, I got it.
Cool. That is cool.
Anyway, so, yeah. Anyway, all the Simister.net is Simister.net.
Okay.
That's
Well,
that's where to go.
congratulations, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. So I'm hoping to actually put like family history stuff up on Simister.org.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, James,
Hannah has a ukulele now, so she's been practicing.
okay, go through that once more, James. Your
Oh,
kids.
yeah, so kids and their talents. Joshua plays the piano. Caleb plays the piano and the ukulele. Hannah knows how to play the piano and plays the ukulele. Lexi knows how to play the piano, but doesn't play it very often.
Fantastic. We gotta
Mariah
start having talent
knows how to play the
contests here.
piano, but hates it.
Get her in here.
Wants to maybe play the ukulele, but is frustrated that her sisters are now doing it.
She did play the recorder pretty good. But
Oh yeah, she plays the recorder.
Okay, she's well, and learning the piano, even you say you hate it now, you learn something about music that will serve you in all different venues, whatever you do. So it wasn't wasted time, and who knows, you may decide that after you try other things, you might want to go back.
Amber knows how to play a flute and the piano.
well, I'd have to relearn the flute though, because it's been a long time.
My mother played the flute in a band in school or something.
Yeah.
when she was
Too.
young.
Yeah. So we have a flute. It needs to get.
Yeah, that's on. Okay, here we have Rob and Linda from Idaho, but now they're from Utah, in not Brigham,
Logan.
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 What's the name of the little town?
Oh, it's College Ward.
No, no. Where our mail goes. Grant, Wellsville.
Wellsville. Oh, that's right. Wellsville.
Okay. Now, when I show this to Renee, Renee's going to look at it. I say, Renee, do you recognize anybody in this picture? We won't tell who it is.
No.
I bet she won't. But this guy, Rob and I, we used to we lived next door to one another, the Werners, Patsy Werner and Rob Werner. And she remembers that. And we moved out about 1956.
Was it that early?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
But Rob and I, we did a lot of things in electronics together. We each had our ham license, and we both had an interest in electronics. And my brother Wayne had his radio station down in the basement.
Let me give a speech.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Hey, quiet. We got...
Did everybody get a fortune cookie? Handful of fortune cookies?
Handful?
Handful.
Oh, I'm getting a handful.
Yeah, give a handful to the kids.
Get a handful. There you go. Good job, guys.
Oh, that's it. Get a
Grab
whole
a
bunch.
handful.
Oh, wow. I wanted to give everybody a fortune cookie here because I feel that I was very fortunate to grow up next to Simisters, and specifically Roger and somewhat Wayne. And I don't know what my earliest memory is of Roger, but there was a lot of mile markers in between in the things that we did, and not everything had to do with electronics. We built go-karts.
Yeah, we did.
At first we didn't have motors for them, but we built several, and we push each other around in them. And one time we thought that we could engineer something better, so we built one that steered from the rear. I don't know if Roger remembers that one. And I'd push him around, and when you come to a corner, you kind of have to anticipate where the rear end of your cart's going to go. And sometimes it went over the pusher's foot, and that wasn't so good. But we graduated from there into gasoline engines. I had one that my dad found somewhere, Army surplus, and Roger found one surplus
on my dad's paint sprayer.
Dad's air compressor. So he dismantled the air compressor, took the engine off of that.
Of course, I didn't tell my dad till afterwards. I didn't.
Yeah, he had discovered that by himself?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, we've had a theft. So, from the mechanics, we sort of went into electronics, and I think that was mostly a result of Wayne, who I'm so sorry can't be here today. Wayne was an interesting guy. 4 years older than we are, approximately?
Yeah, he's 8 years old. He was born in 32.
Okay, well, I'm 76, so about 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, he's born in 32?
Yeah.
33.
Yeah. 33?
So that's 7 years older.
Okay, yeah, 7 years old. Thank you, James.
Okay. So Wayne was 7 years older, and so he was a little more advanced in life, and had an interesting hobby of chemistry. And he did his chemistry by doing two things. He was a photographer and had his own dark room and did all of his own developing. And I finally got a little brownie camera, took some pictures, and that's where I would take my pictures to have Wayne develop them. And but he broke me in on something that was more binary than a photograph. He had blueprint paper. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So he would sell me a piece of blueprint paper, and I would go out and find objects to put on it, a key or a leaf, different things, and expose it to the sunlight, and then cover it up, and then run it back over to Wayne, and he would develop it, and I would end up with a blueprint of these objects. So I thought that was pretty nice. And then later on we graduated to film, and he developed a lot of my film for me. And the other thing Wayne was good at was chemistry outside of a photo lab. And he mostly displayed those talents around the 4th of July. One of the major events was a smoke bomb that he built, and we took it out in the field and back and lit it. And I remember this whole, it was like a blanket. This blanket started to cover the weeds, and that was quite interesting to see that he could make that much smoke out of a little tiny pile of chemicals. He also built snakes, and they were a lot better than the ones you could buy at the store. They produced a lot better ash that came out, and it stayed together. And so I used to buy all my snakes from Wayne. And you haven't heard any of these stories, have you?
I haven't.
No.
This is awesome.
Very often you cannot help thinking of somebody.
Wayne also was involved with electronics, and decided to have his own radio station. And he was into recordings. He had a couple of turntables, and he also had a wire recorder. This is back in the days before there was tape, and recorded on a wire. And I remember the wire recorder, and I think he had that hooked up to his station. His station was down in his bedroom, and I think he had at least 2 turntables. And I would go usually looking for Roger to come out and play and build some more highways with our tractors and stuff in the dirt. Maybe he was busy, and while I was waiting for Roger to come out, I'd kneel down at the basement window, which was right on the level of the patio, and there I could watch Wayne broadcast. And it was a real broadcast. At first I thought he was make-believe, because at my house I had a raisin box that I had poked full of holes as a microphone with a string on it. But his was real, and he had a station out in his a transmitter out in the back of the garage with an antenna that came out, and it was WSL, Wayne Simister Laboratories. And so I would listen to him play records, and that was my first exposure to the record.
And then the little brother too.
I can't remember the two. Who's on First? You remember that? And Wayne had that record, and he would play that, and so I'd run home and tell my mom, "You got to write the dial on to, what was it, 1060? I don't remember the frequency. It was wherever he didn't get caught, I think. I'm not sure it was all legal, but it served its purpose really well. So that's how I became familiar with Wayne. He went on to school, and he was going to go to the university, and I think he was in East High School, and knew that you had to study hard when you got into the university, so he took shorthand. And he showed me how to write my name in shorthand. If I had a pencil, I could show it to you. I'll never forget it. And so he went on, and then, of course, he went into military. Went to, was it Fort Monmouth, or was that you?
No, that was Wayne.
That was Wayne?
Wayne went to Fort Monmouth.
Yeah, radar school, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't radar. I went to radar school. That was in Mississippi.
Okay.
But Wayne went kind of a general electronic school.
Okay.
But yeah, he ended up at White Sands repairing
that's right.
the Nike missiles.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was my exposure to Wayne, and then he went on to college. I didn't see much of him. Went in the military, and but Roger and I stayed there a couple of years later, and we both became ham radio operators, and we rigged, in order to practice the Morse code, which was a requirement then. We rigged I think I got for Christmas a Morse code set. Had a little buzzer in it and batteries. And I gave him one of those, and I had one. And through my dad, who knew some people at an electric motor repair shop, we got coils of copper wire, and we rigged 2 wires parallel from his basement to my basement, and then we practiced the code. Remember that? So we that's how we learned the Morse code, and it was a very, very effective way to learn it. I still remember it. You remember Morse code?
Oh yes,
You
yeah.
never forget it.
You don't.
No.
It's still with me.
Yep.
That kept a lot of people from becoming ham because they didn't want to learn it.
Well, we learned
That
it
was
the
one
right
of his
way.
greatest selling points. So he says, you don't have to learn Morse code anymore.
We would
have to take public transportation.
we'd
to
sit
find
down
it.
together
Yeah.
at a table, and I'd say, Roger, this is an A.
Yeah.
Ba-bop.
Yeah.
And
I
I'd
know,
send
I
him a
can't
bunch
find
of
it.
A's, and he'd say, yeah, okay. Brain's got that.
I
Said,
got my
okay,
purse
this
and
is
I
a
don't
C.
know what I did with it.
And then I'd throw in an A and fox him up. But you can only do that a couple of times, and then you've got two letters down in your brain. So with that type of process, we taught each other the Morse code, and it turned out to be pretty effective. We both, I'm sure, remember it. Then we went on to, about that time, Roger had a station. I don't remember what your station was then.
Oh, it was just a little. Wayne made me a little station. I didn't really
Did he?
use it that much. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was mostly into ham radio work by then.
yeah. Well, that's what I meant.
Then I made my own little transmitter.
Did you?
Yeah, and
Okay.
we bought those old Arc 5 receivers.
Oh, yes.
The
From Ben.
yeah, from Ben, and
Yeah.
converted those. They made a nice 40-meter
Yep.
CW receiver.
So he's telling me where we used to buy our military surplus. This was World War II surplus. The war had only been over 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and there was tons and tons of it available at very reasonable prices. And today, what we had bought for $5 would probably be worth $500 if you had one. Military surplus. So
I either drive to Seattle and then cross
I just wanted to
Canada and
share that with you. And
directly to Canada. And
was there anything else that was going to tell you? So Roger moved, and they moved away from us, but we were together for about 15 years. And when you hear all of the problems on TV now about shootings in neighborhoods and all kinds of abuse of each other, I look back at the neighborhood we lived in, and it was right after the war. Our parents somehow got the money together. My mom and dad's house and garage and lot cost $5,000, and they had a 2% loan on it, and so that's how things have changed. The street was very stable. I don't think there was anybody that moved out that I can think of. Well, up until high school time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so for 10 to 15 years, we lived in a neighborhood where every day we knew the same people. We trusted the same people. Just didn't have any problems. And we're thankful to grow up in that environment. So.
I always felt like I grew up in a bubble. When you get out and you see the world,
Yeah.
fortunate.
So I wanted everybody to have a fortune cookie because I feel very fortunate to have grown up next to this guy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Well, it was fun. It was fun back in those days. We could leave the house open. We didn't need to lock the house up. We could leave the keys in the car. Much different world back then. But
one of the things that I remember is your dad, when he had a sign business, would sometimes get a truck to paint. And they would drive it in Roger's driveway and pull over a little bit. And I almost felt like I could make a sign. I watched him do the letters on paper, and then he would take a perforation wheel and perforate all of the outline, and he would tape it up onto the vehicle and take a bag full of chalk and puff it all over, and then pull the paper off, and it left a chalk trail. And he had a cue stick with a rubber ball on the end, which he would use to brace his arm, and he would paint the letters in on the truck. Beautiful job.
all by hand.
All by hand. Yeah.
Today it's much different.
Yeah. Just that vinyl lettering you slap on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, well, good. We're sure glad Rob and Linda could come and visit with us today, and we appreciate it.
Linda was our friend in high school. She came on the scene late. They moved in from Chicago. Moved to Salt Lake City from Chicago. And her father was a professor at the university. And so she came in and ended up sitting next to me in psychology.
Been sitting next to you for a long time.
So a lot of things happened after that. She was around in Salt Lake for a couple of years, and then had to move back to Washington, D.C. Her dad got a different job at the Smithsonian, and so they had to leave. We kind of lost contact for 30 years, and then managed to. I finally hunted her down and found her.
Okay, you're the one. Yeah, I remember hearing.
You remember hearing about it?
That story, yes.
Oh.
So she's not a stranger to Roger, and I think that's about.
Was it that you had kept in touch with Roger and she kept in touch with Roger or something? Or was that somebody else?
What?
Look at the kid I didn't see that. Using her clock. It's Gracie, she's looking through the box. Oh, thank you! That's cool. See it?
Yeah, he told us to drop one.
Oh, really? Okay. That would have been fun.
Yeah. And two potatoes.
Oh, cool. We'll have to somehow get My parents wish they could have come.
Did you get some of it?
I heard some of it.
Okay.
All of it.